Clearly.
Say that one more time.
My asshole is ready.
It's gonna make for
Hello,
a hell
and
of a soundbite.
Oh my god! Oh shit!
I was about to say hello, welcome everyone to the podcast.
Yeah, Masami, you can do our intro.
Oh yeah, that was slick right there. Well, we all know what Zero's doing tonight. How about everyone else?
Yo,
Okay, see, now things just feel weird.
I know what Omega. No, it feels fine. No, you're right. It does feel. Hold on, I gotta take my pants off. That's why it feels weird.
There you go.
Doc, you started a podcast with pants on?
I was just eating dinner with my family.
I suppose, but 10 lashes for poor remembrance.
Fuck's sake! All right, okay.
Only 10? I thought he liked more than that.
I mean, if he wants to do extra credit, I'm not going to stop him.
Darn tootin'. Anyway, yeah, I know Omega's playing Diablo, Zero's playing Destiny, and your husband's playing Hades, and I don't know what you're playing, Masami. What are you playing?
Right now I have Dungeon Draft up because my brain
Oh.
hasn't been able to let go of things all day. It's great.
No, that's totally fine. I'm in a similar. Whenever I play Cities Skylines, I'm in a similar mindset where I'm not really interested in playing a game so much as I'm interested in creating something. Which is
Yeah, I did try playing Valheim earlier, but then I'm like, I just died, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just come back later. The world's not persistent anyway, so it's not like I'm gonna be bad off for it. So
Yeah, I've been playing Batman. I've been playing the Arkham series.
That's right. You got back into that.
I did.
Did you start with the first game?
I did. I started with I got 75%, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into Arkham City and just try to do that. So I'm 24% on Arkham City right now. And there's just so much more to do in Arkham City than there was in Arkham Asylum.
This is also my finding too, because I played Arkham Asylum. That game actually came out back in the day when I was still 100%ing solo player games. Because for whatever reason, so I had a lot of fun. First of all, searching out all the little trophies everywhere. That was just neat to me because of the puzzle aspect of it.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I really loved about the first game was it was this novel. I don't think it was a mechanic that had been used before. You have one whole map that's just, the beautiful aesthetics, the graphics, the rain and the dark and all the rest of that where you're crawling around Arkham Asylum. And then you have a completely separate map, which is Batman Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Batman
Detective
Vision
mode.
Yeah, detective mode. That's what they called it. So
Yeah.
that was really cool for me at the time, where I was like, wow, there are actually two completely separate maps laid over one another that you can swap back and forth to.
And I thoroughly enjoyed Arkham City because it really it dove into the whereas Arkham Asylum was more, okay, this is the Joker's story. This is, his story. Arkham Asylum kind of gets into everybody else. And all of the other major players from Arkham who weren't really present, like Dr. Freeze and Bane. Well, Bane was present in Arkham Asylum, but he didn't play a major role.
Yeah, didn't we fight Bane in the first one?
You did, but it was not. It was like a quickie battle, and then you met him out on the tarmac and ran him over with your car.
Oh, gotcha.
So.
Oh, hi, Coulson.
he can't hear you, but he's gonna stream his game.
Oh, cool. All right, gotcha. Yeah, so I didn't actually get into Arkham City that much. I started playing it, and then for whatever reason it petered out. Probably something else came along at that time. I want to say one of the Mass Effect games.
They had a sale going on here here a few days ago, and it was all of the Arkham Origins games or Arkham games were on sale, and I got them all for like $11.99 with DLC.
Yeah,
So
they're aging at this point, but still good games.
But I also have Origins, which I thoroughly enjoyed when I played it on Xbox. So I'm looking forward to getting to that, but I'm playing them in the order that they were released.
Nice.
So
Well, they are good games, or they were good games. The fucking Unreal Engine on those was so ridiculous. That was the first game I played where Batman was super fucking jacked.
yeah.
He's just a giant beefcake. And so are all the enemies. Every single enemy is just a mountain of muscle.
And then you got to Bane, and Bane was just he was not just the mountain of muscle. He was the Appalachian Mountains of muscle.
How do you make a person into a tank?
And I like that they gave Bane's character depth. He wasn't just raw, kill everything. He was tactical, and he had purpose, and he had meaning, like he does in the comics.
Bane, big boy. Oh well. So you got back into Arkham. Omega and I picked up Red Dead, and then I peer pressured Omega into coming in and playing it. Omega, did you finish your last couple levels today?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think what I've decided with Red Dead is I've basically beaten all the major content. There's nothing really left for me to do. I'm not gonna feel pressure. I'm not gonna make myself feel pressured into joining the timed events and grinding out that kind of stuff. And like, if there's ever a time where you or someone else is like, "Hey, let's play some Red Dead. There's some cool stuff going on, or we could do some fun." So, yeah, sure, I'll hop in and like I'll spend a night playing Red Dead anytime. But I've chosen not to get back into the grind cycle of that game.
So you're staying away from the grind cycle of it. My reason for taking time off for a long time was I don't like engaging in PvP. I don't particularly think that I'm bad at it. I just don't enjoy PvP in general.
Yeah, it has its moments. When you do well and, defend yourself against an asshole, it feels pretty damn good, I gotta admit. And I'd be lying if it said it wasn't a fucking adrenaline rush. But, we were playing last night, we ran across some randos, and, I always try to be cordial and use the in-game mic and be like, "Hey, not gonna be an asshole and kill you all."
My problem was that I was minding my own business in a bar, drinking a beer, and a guy came in and just stabbed me. No fucking reason.
That'll happen.
Yeah, it's kind of a dick move.
And one of them just looked just like oh motherfucker, why can't I remember his name? The Asian dude with the bowler hat from James Bond.
Oddjob.
Oddjob, thank you. Yeah, one of them looked just like Oddjob. So I got up in that guy's face just a little bit.
Well, we ran into a couple hackers in a couple occasions as well. There was also the people who were in ghost mode.
Yeah, at the end, those were the dudes who stabbed me.
Yeah, and then there was also once we changed sessions because it immediately switched from night to day. So obviously, somebody with a mod menu came in and was like, "I want it to be daytime."
Yeah. So that's still a thing. But whatever.
Imagine that, a Rockstar game with people who hack.
I know, right?
The audacity.
There's still one of those in every single goddamn GTA session. But now it seems like it's cooled off. The last few times I've been in a public GTA session, the modder was not being a jerk to me, and arguably not being a jerk at all.
Yeah, I will admit, for every asshole modder I come across in GTA, I feel like I'm also coming across a modder who's just fucking around, playing with other people, and is only a dick to somebody if somebody is a dick to them. And, the worst person to be is the troll who decides to unknowingly pick on somebody who's just been sitting on a mod menu, minding their own business, and then you show up and start trolling them in your fucking Oppressor Mark II, and then they just unleash hell on you. I've seen it happen in a session. It was hilarious. And then after the guy eventually rage quit, the modder, like, we all went to the airport, and he turned the friction way down on, he could turn the friction way down on specific cars, so and turn the speed way up. So I was in my little clown car and going 500 miles an hour and spinning donuts and shit. It was hilarious. He was spawning in UFOs. It was awesome. So there are cool people out there.
I was just gonna say the reason I got back into Red Dead was I felt like walking around the pretty scenescape and collecting things for a day. That's the only reason I noticed the active club open. But now I have a new goal. I have too many treasure maps. So many, in fact, that they're backlogged in my mail. So I need to go and get all the treasure maps sorted out. So I'm gonna try to do that just because it will satisfy my OCD.
Yeah, I've done the same, going through the treasure map cycles. You get duplicates, and you get duplicates of the same location.
Yes,
and
I do.
You can't take them out of your mailbox.
Yeah.
So they just sit there. So you have to go find it, then go get another treasure map for the same spot to find it again.
Yeah, I've got 3. I think I have 3 treasure maps for Diablo Ridge, which is not a terrible one to have. The locations on that one are pretty straightforward. Citadel Rock was giving me a lot of trouble the other day, though. Oh well. So yeah. And I wanted to bring this up. I'm not sure if I talked about this to you or if Leetness talked about this to you, but Leetness was the one that discovered that Warframe had a promotional event on the Epic Store, probably early last year, where if you logged in to Warframe through the Epic Store, you got a free Dragoon and a free Ogress and a free, just, three basically MR fodder weapons, but you also got Unreal Tournament skins along with those weapons. So that was my encouragement to download Warframe through Epic Store and just open it up, and boom, I got all this free content, and then I promptly uninstalled it and went back to Steam. Warframe.
refuse to put a second installation of a game on my computer for some glitter. I am impressed, but I am both impressed but also not surprised by your dedication to glitter.
Thank you.
That's too much for me. I will play a game for glitter. I will play a game a lot for glitter. I'm not gonna fucking go through that song and dance.
But anyway, yeah, for about, I want to say, an hour's worth of downloading, opening up, and then quitting and uninstalling, you got these 3 free skins, and I think an affinity booster or some shit. Logged into Warframe today, noticed a big update, and I was like, what's different? I checked the store. For $20 now, you can buy a pack, which will give you a little bit of platinum and an affinity booster, and a free Ogress, and a free Dragoon, and a free whatever the third gun is, and the Unreal Tournament skins to go along with them. So yeah, what was free last year is now $20. $20. I thought that was funny.
I did see the notification for that. I didn't realize it was a paid skin bundle. That's pretty lame.
It's not even a pay with platinum bundle, it's a pay with $20 from the Warframe store.
I feel like they've been doing that more lately.
Yeah, with the supporter packs, excuse me.
Yeah, they've been, I think, backing off of bundles that you can buy with a plat cost, and have been switching to bundles that you buy with cash that give you plat. They've always had those, but I feel like they've been like the ratio's been switching lately or recently. Yeah.
I did notice some kind of have an uptick with Deimos and whatnot, so
I mean, with Tencent owning them now, they've got to start coming up with more ways to get that free muns, some free muns.
Well, actually, you mentioned the supporter packs. I feel like Deimos supporter pack might have been one of the first time they introduced that kind of, like when they first started really introducing that.
Railjack, the Railjack supporter pack, as I remember, was the first one, and that one was actually
right.
not...
Just buy a Railjack and all the parts.
Right. Well, okay, so there were two. There was the Railjack starter pack, or the Railjack starter pack and the Railjack supporter pack. I think the two of them were different. Yeah, one of them, you just outright bought a Railjack, so you skipped the whole song and dance of the quest, which, yeah, no thanks on my part. But the other one, the supporter pack, was just, like, an affinity booster and a drop chance booster and a poster for your orbiter and some platinum and something else. I didn't even know why they called it a supporter pack, because the only thing it had to do with Railjack was the poster, as far as I remember.
Railjack,
but yes,
that's through a supporter pack.
yes, they are. DE is doing that more and more and more. More real money packs to buy. But yeah. Alright, and who else? Oh yeah, Kosen, for whatever reason, is streaming his Discord window.
oh no.
I'm not throwing it up on stream.
So much porn.
Can't see anything anyway. No, it's literally just this chat room with all of us. And, oh, you can see Zero Cam. I'm going to Zero Cam real quick, because Zero's gone full biker.
The question is, you have to identify all of the servers on the side of his window.
And Masami was doing a construction window, construct a little bit of construction. Is this a spoiler that I'm looking at, Masami?
No, this is Kevlin's seance chamber.
Oh, it is. This is Kevlin's room, or one of his rooms. He's the only person in the house that has like double rooms.
I kind of took over the basement. I figured nobody would want to be down there.
Yeah, he lives in the basement where the dead bodies used to be.
Yeah.
I figured it would be somewhere that I could have some fun rituals go on, and nobody would really be arguing for the space. Considering we found some hideous abomination of flesh living there when we arrived.
She has a name. All right, so back to Omega stream. Yeah,
I mean, there's a bed down here now, so that's progress.
Yeah. We never really did discuss that, whether or not you were going to buy a coffin, Omega.
No, I decided against a coffin.
Blah. So you just wake up
Boo.
and go, blah.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't say blah blah blah.
Cop Strahd's vibe too hard.
Good evening.
Yeah, I have reached the point on Diablo 2 at this character of I've finished Nightmare difficulty, kind of walked through the end of it, and got my shit kicked in real hard by Act 1 of Hell difficulty. So I'm kind of just farming some bosses and looting and making some money.
Yeah, that tracks with what I remember about Hell difficulty.
So, yeah. Apparently the meta for leveling from about 60 to 70, mid-70s or so is Act 5 Nightmare, and you farm 2 bosses. There's this guy in here, Pindle Skin.
That's not a real name.
There's another boss that you just may have seen me out there killing a moment ago, named Eldrick the something or another. I don't know. Give me a second. You'll see it pretty quick.
Eldrick the Fap Whacker.
But
Pendleskin and his brother Rumple 4.
Ooh. Ooh.
So yeah, I'm grinding, making good money. I was getting a little broke because I was buying all sorts of stuff pretty willy-nilly, and I was using my one main character to fund my. Now I have 3 characters that I'm running, and I'm just dumping gold from my main character into my my other characters.
And
so
your friends' characters.
yeah, I dropped like 100,000 gold on Zero the other day.
I was just sitting there, and he's like, "Here, stay here for a second. Here, take this," and dropped 100,000 gold. I couldn't even pick it all up. I literally had to pick up part of it, go back to town, drop it off in my stash, go back and pick up the rest.
So where is he?
All right.
There he is, Eldrick the Rectifier.
Oh.
Hello.
So yeah, go in, kill him, head back to town, head into this little portal over here. Jump, throw down some blizzards, kill Pendleskin, and these might be worth a little bit of money. And then you remake. And you do this a lot. And you get lots of loot. I've been doing a lot of research lately into Diablo 2, watching a lot of videos, reading a lot of forum posts and guides and stuff going back 12, 15 years in some cases. I've learned a lot about how loot drops work in this game, and it's actually a really interesting system that I think is unique in ARPGs. So I've been kind of using what I've learned to try and farm up some things that I can get to at my level, and where I'm currently at is grinding. And this is, not the only thing I've been doing recently, but I've been mixing this in. It's fun. Sometimes I'll go on runs through other places just to mix it up, but yeah.
Das Grün Dizzle.
Too.
And Masami is designing our next D&D adventure.
Oh no, this is me just cleaning the house.
Masami is cleaning our D&D house.
Barry's D&D house. We just live there.
It's the animal house that we have.
Yes.
It literally is. The first night that we spent there, we invited all of our girlfriends over, and everybody got slammed except for Bittertooth. Oh, and Kevlin.
Well, there's no goblin girls for Bittertooth to get his hands on.
There was
but,
that. We went to that shop, and I poked Leetness, and I was just like, tell her that she has a nice smile. I was trying to hook him up, but he just didn't have it in him.
Maybe he's just not up for interspecies relations.
I mean,
I don't know, everybody trying to fuck NPCs. I'm just over here trying to get us a wizard.
Well, you clearly don't know how to play the game. So
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Doc, you may know how to play the game a little too well.
No. I'm even worse at the game than the worst player that you've ever known. I'm terrible at D&D, and I know it.
I'm playing the long game. I'm trying to. I want to get her to join us, and then maybe I'll smash.
I'm down for it. I mean, some people want to smash, and some people want to make a connection first. That's fair.
I have no long-term investments in.
Well, that follows your
games.
character, so.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gonna say Eldred's just down to how should we say this?
Use
Eldred. Yeah, Eldred wants to.
Elder Santa Fe.
He wants his progeny to be spread across multiple lands.
No, he
Oh,
just
I
that
wants
the
didn't
right
think
word?
about that.
Yeah, he wants as many of them as possible to be in a pocket dimension that they can't escape from, so he doesn't ever have to face them. He won't ever have like 15 kids showing up at his house being like, "Yeah,
Hey,
hey,
Dad.
No,
Dad,
that's
what's up?"
that's the worst fucking thing ever, because we're gonna get out of Barovia and we're all gonna go home, and Eldred's gonna be, you know, doing his shtick, and then 1 year later, a whole bunch of people are gonna show up married to Vistani, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, Dad, fully grown kids." That'll be where the trouble starts.
Oh, you think that'll be where the trouble starts? That's adorable.
That's cute. You forget who our DM is.
I don't care. I'm the one who encourages her to add more monsters in fights. Who are you kidding?
I mean, it's true, but I do have warnings. If we fight skeletons, there will be memes. There will be tons of memes.
That's fine. That's good. That's healthy.
Spin the wheel. I may even have a soundboard set up with skull trumpet.
Oh boy.
Every single time you kill something.
Do the just do the first 2 notes of whatever that Undertale song is. Just
No,
we don't
I will never.
Nobody ever needs to know to hear the other notes, because we all know them. You just hear da.
It's not even that. It's there are ways that are there are people now who are like, I've watched videos where somebody will hit the first note and everybody's like, stop. Just if you play it, we're kicking you out of the Discord right now.
Oh, I gotta add that to the soundboard. I got a bunch of stuff to add to the soundboard now. Masami, before I forget, I do need the recording from last night. Thank you.
Yes.
Whenever you have a chance. It's not exactly imperative.
Right. I'm highly anticipating the clip show that's gonna come of all of these. I'm very excited because I've seen you've displayed your work before, and I am a quiver with anticipation.
I was not joking when I said I don't remember making that.
I believe you. I fully believe you. So I am still assertive when I say that I'm looking forward to the next time you don't remember clipping together a thing.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that the Reddit live stream that I pulled of the tarot card reading, I'm pretty sure that happened after D&D one night after I had been drinking.
Yes. I believe this fully.
She was a peach, though. She did a really good job on that reading.
She did.
And my whole fucking thing on Reddit Live now is discovering who people are by how they react to my name.
I mean, it's a good
And attempting to never mind.
No, it's really it's a thing. I mean, if somebody reads my name and they say Dr. Niggle, and then they immediately assume that it's racist, I know something about that person, and mainly it's that they're not that smart.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they're probably good to have some fun with. But
then of course there's our cult friend. Oh, our cult friend.
That, yes, I still haven't figured out his streaming schedule or what his fucking name is. But whatever. He's
something.
I don't like heroin dealers. That's my whole shtick with him. Well, let's see. Oh, we had very little exciting gaming news this week at all, but I did throw up some technology news because it looked kind of fun.
And of course, today's epic social media shutdown.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So before we get to Phison's new PCIe 5.0 chip and super fast SSD storage, yeah, Facebook went offline for I don't know how many hours today. Is it still down?
I think
it's back up now.
Yeah, Facebook, WhatsApp, and
Instagram
all went down, shared servers, and there was speculation that it was another DNS error.
Well, yeah, I saw where someone did a lookup and like the global DNS entry was just fucking gone.
How does that happen? How does the entire infrastructure of one of the internet's most powerful presences get shut down for that long?
So here's the thing about DNS that people probably don't appreciate. It is like the internet's phone book. You have the name of a person that you want to call, and you tell the phone book the name, and the phone book looks up the number and it connects you. That's the telephone analogy. In reality, that's all handled by software, and it is relatively customized commercial software that every server's run. And what DNS is really known for, what they're really famous for, is the fucking powerhouse of a server that you need, or a server farm that you need to run a DNS, because you're talking about billions of requests potentially per second. So, and that's not counting something like a denial of service attack or some shit like that. So the fucking enormity of the power that a DNS has just to route traffic is incredible. But that's the most incredible part about it. Behind that is the software. And I was looking this up last time Facebook went down. It was a DNS problem. And the problem stemmed from one of their customers changing a setting for their website, completely unrelated website to Facebook. And the changing of that setting being applied on the software in the DNS server triggered a software glitch. It was a small line of code that somebody just overlooked in an audit, and this one thing that this one person did happened to trigger this one thing, which then caused a cascade of failures across the rest of the software. So the DNS just started routing incorrectly, and everything sort of shut down, including Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. So it really is, we think of many things in the world as these very stable systems that just work and they're in place, but in reality a lot of it is very jury-rigged and a lot of customization goes into it, and you can get fucked pretty hard if somebody made a mistake years ago.
There reminds me of a story that I heard not too long ago, and I'm going to see if I can look it up really quick. But it was a guy who had a piece of code that he wrote up on GitHub. And it was like, or no, it wasn't GitHub. It was another site like GitHub. I forget which one it was, but it was another site that a lot of, like, the entire programming world uses to pull code from. And it was just like a little tiny couple lines of code that ended up getting put into so many different other pieces of software that eventually it was built into effectively the backbone of so much corporate enterprise software around the world. And then there became this dispute where this other major company wanted to, on that website, this is why it wasn't GitHub, it was a different website, but this company wanted to release a little chunk of code that had, like, the name that the guy originally used for his chunk of code was the same as this company's product. So they wanted to release a piece of code with that name, and they basically strong-armed the website into making him change the name of his code. So he just took it off. And him removing his code from their database meant that when all these other pieces of software around the world went to pull that code, they found nothing. And, like, half the business world shut down and nobody knew what the fuck happened because nobody realized that this piece of code that was written by some fucking dude was in thousands upon thousands upon thousands of different programs.
Was this 2020 on SourceForge? SourceForge did have a major, I think it was a language, okay, I found it here. Language training projects, learning with texts and foreign language text reader. The authors simultaneously removed their code and replaced it with a README file citing a legal dispute for the reason of the code takedown. No indication of the source of legal threat was published.
No, I think I found it. It was 2016. It was an Oakland-based developer named Azar Kosulu. He had an 11-line package that had been it was called npm. It was sorry, he had his JavaScript registry at a website called npm, and this is the website I was talking about. That's a big massive code repository, and his little code block was put into things used by Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, all sorts of things. The module was called, it's an 11-line long module called left pad.
Mhm.
And it's a shortcut that developers use. So instead of having to write that 11 lines of code, they can just put in a shortcut for that left pad. And it just got buried under so many levels of developers just stealing code blocks from these sort of websites instead of writing their own code, that people had inadvertently copied this one code block into all of a sudden fucking everything. And then he took it out because of this dispute, and it fucking all went it was Kik. That's right. Kik, the messaging app.
Oh, I remember that thing going down hard at one point.
I found the code. I threw it up on the screen. This is remarkable. Yeah, it really is 11 lines of code for left padding in Java.
Yeah, and he called it Kik, and then Kik wanted to release a module on npm that was theirs called Kik, and so npm folded to this massive company, obviously, instead of siding with this one dude. And his opinion was like, this goes against all of the principles of open source software that I believe in, and just because I've made this software, and well, yeah, I have open sourced it, it's mine and I can take it down if I want to. So that's what he did, and it fucking broke the internet.
This is cool. Yeah. Oh, good for this dude.
And what I think is really funny is that he didn't even intend for any of this to happen. It's like he didn't even realize that his code had been used in such a widespread way. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting people's work. I did it for the benefit of the community in the long term. And he said npm's monopoly won't be dictating the free software community anymore. So he kind of took a principled stance against the company siding with the mega corporation. But it's one of my favorite stories. Makes you realize how fucking fragile our entire digital infrastructure is.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It looks so pretty on the surface level, but like below the UI it's just hanging on by a thread.
You should I'm sure you did take program courses at some point, or some HTML, or at least some CSS or HTML or something. Yeah, if you take
a little bit,
just websites, how websites are constructed, even the polls for modern day CSS, and you take a look at some of that code, it is cobbled together and janky as fuck. And half the time when I start a project, if somebody actually asks me to build a web service or a website or something like that, instead of pulling CSS from some well-known HTML repository or CSS repository, I'll half the time just rewrite it myself or use crap that I've used in the past, because at least it's organized, and at least I understand how everything works into each other, and at least it isn't fucking calling on multiple things at once, especially in CSS, where you just call on one thing after another, and it's a miracle that it works in the first place. But
pretty much,
usually, I mean, that's the whole thing. To respond to that sort of mess, HTML3 and then 4 and now 5 have all gotten more robust and better at understanding trash, basically. So that's how we're managing that. Not that that's a healthy way to go about it, but yeah, that speaks more to the fragility. Good times. But yeah, speaking of...
it sounds like we're getting to the point where we're making our technologies smarter, which is causing us to get dumber.
Yeah, isn't that a little bit of a vicious cycle there?
Like, the new coding language can understand bad code, so nobody needs to write good code anymore.
Yeah, the AI just sorts it out for you. Or it will, once we get that up and running.
The next thing you know, it's just going to write its own code, and that's the singularity, and that's when we're fucked.
I thought it was actually kind of funny in this article that was written by Katie Wickens, because she mentions that just as an aside to a new SSD.
Any article written by Katie Wickens is hilarious because Katie Wickens is a hilarious name.
Katie the Wickens. Katie Wickens. Katie's Wickens. Anyway, Phison's custom SSD controller solution will double the bandwidth of today's tech. So basically, Phison, it's a hardware company, put out a new PCIe 5.0 chip for SSDs, which is going to make it possible for 14,000 megabyte per second sequential read and 7,000 megabyte per second sequential write, which it's more than double, I think, of the current best PCIe 4 SSDs. And the best part about this is that it will be compatible with M.2 and all the U.3, E1S, and E3S products. So all of your sockets for SSDs will be able to accept this, and it will be super fucking fast as long as you have a PCI 5.0 laying on your motherboard, which most of the next gen ones do. But yeah, at the end of this, Katie mentions that Samsung is looking to copy the human mind onto an SSD, and this will make it that much faster, and it will be able to operate that much faster. So yeah, there's we're getting to the point where the singularity is expected. I think it's next year or the year after.
Well, isn't the problem with modeling the human brain not processing speed but parallel processing capacity?
I believe
like computers can process data way faster than the brain can, but it's stuck to however many threads across however many cores of a CPU versus the human brain, which is, evolutionarily designed to multitask.
I can't speak to that specifically, but I can tell you that non-commercially available CPUs have, I forget what the biggest one is. It's probably something like 128 cores running in parallel with hyperthreading enabled. So if we don't already have a processor that can mimic the number of processes that the human brain can manage at once, or parallel process, we're certainly getting there, and we should be there in another year, I think. I don't know. How many parallel processes can the human brain operate on?
That's a good question.
These are good questions. All right, let's go back to the Discord window. Yeah, but anybody gonna get a new SSD?
Probably not.
I mean, I just got one not too long ago, so no.
Let's see. Britannica is surprisingly unhelpful, saying that equipped with, let's see, the brain might be capable of executing as many as 100 billion operations per second. Yeah, but, how many in parallel?
All of them. All in parallel. No.
All of them. Apparently, I don't know how legit this is. ScienceAlert.com claims that clinical results have shown there were a maximum of around 50 independent processes at work in the human brains performing complex visuomotor tasks, such as blah, 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 blah. So, at least for our perception of the world around us and all our senses, that's 50 independent processes at once. Just not that many. But
but that's just in terms of perception.
Right, and then we're talking about your cardiopulmonary system, your nervous system, your digestive system, all the rest of that, all your muscular processes.
Well, that's not even to start to crack the code of consciousness, which is something that we have no fucking idea what it is.
Scientifically, no, but philosophically, we've made some major breakthroughs about this. One of my favorite philosophical arguments as to how the human brain works and how consciousness evolved is in Westworld. They just sort of added that into the show, and it's the theory of the inner monologue. It's like, we are conscious because we have a voice inside of us, and we have a voice inside our head. And it's our voice talking to us, and it's how we think, but that is the root of consciousness.
That's an interesting thought of where it might be.
That's how it started, and then over 100,000 years, it evolved into what it is today. And we don't even think about it anymore. It's just second nature, and we're all built off of it, and it's all automated. But
My whole thing, I don't trust humans having that much power.
what,
I
making
mean,
AIs and shit?
yeah, I don't trust them putting mapping a human brain to a computer, because said brain could, again, the singularity, and then we end up with Skynet, or we end up with somebody who completely loses their fucking mind because they don't know their physical, or their conscious being can't comprehend exactly what's going on and what is happening.
You're talking about the beginning of RoboCop. Do you remember
I
the
mean, not wrong.
business presentation at the beginning of RoboCop where they're showing off all the RoboCop prototypes, and they're just fucking murdering people around them, and then they kill themselves,
Yeah.
or they just go ballistic? Yeah, because there's a human mind in a robot.
Well,
I mean,
and
who knows? Maybe that would happen.
Fallout. Well, I go
Oh,
by the Fallout 3
fuck.
logic. The Fallout 3 logic, which there was a think tank in Fallout 3 that put their minds into robotic form and ended up going mad. And, I mean, would it be nice to have that type of innovation? Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, are we going to be able to control it once we go down that rabbit hole? Are we going to be able to get out of it?
Well, we're building the technology, so somebody smart in there would probably build an off switch into their device, a manual override off switch. I mean, even Data on Star Trek had one of those.
I think my favorite depiction of it was there's a space opera that I'm a fan of, but their basic notion of mechanical consciousness, like downloading a human brain into computers, is that the software and the hardware are one and the same. And that if you take the human software and put it on digital hardware, you are creating a new being. So like they do have post-humans in this society, like people at the end of their lives, like they've developed the technology that people can live together if they so choose. So when people quote unquote die, they are choosing to either not go through regeneration, or they are choosing to download into what was ANA, the Advanced Neural Architecture, which is like a giant collective consciousness of AI intelligence that people could join. But the very act of doing that completely changed the nature of the life form, the consciousness, and what it was. So it's no longer a human life on digital hardware. It is a post-human. It's really interesting to think about that kind of stuff. I love that kind
The
of crazy sci-fi philosophy.
I can wrap it back up into Westworld, since along the lines of creating a new being or a new entity whenever you put a human mind into a robot form. In Westworld philosophy, the human form couldn't handle it. So it was soon as the human mind realized that it wasn't in its body, it started fragmenting and shutting down. So that's another gray area. These are all things that I'm sure that we will figure out the next, 10, 20 years.
Well, I mean, and that's Westworld. I love the way that Westworld kind of did that series and how they created synthetic humans, because it was very Fallout 4 of them. The mechanism and everything like that, they went through multiple stages, and then they finally quote figured it out.
In Fallout
Um,
4.
in Fallout 4, yeah, they
Yeah.
had, synth level 1, or the model 1 synths were very basic, skeletons. That was pretty much it. uh Fallout, or version 2, had a synthetic skin but looked nothing like human. Version 3 was like human-like. It was human, essentially.
Sounds like
So
the
maybe that's
evolution.
the route we're going.
Sounds like the evolution of the Terminators.
I'll be back.
And he was in
And
every
multiple
goddamn
times.
movie. Oh boy. But the other thing about that is, oh, fine. So, yeah, say we actually do figure out how to put a human mind into a robot and or a machine body, and the human mind doesn't go completely fucking insane. All of a sudden, you have a human. I'm with Zero here. I don't think we should put humans into machine bodies or bodies that are superior in every single way to biological human beings, just because we know what our species does to quote unquote lesser life forms. Like, we're the biggest, smartest ones on the planet, and we're in charge because we murdered everything that challenged us.
Yeah, but like that's what's going to happen. Look at our design. It's gonna be some fucking Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk type with billions and billions of dollars who's the one to do it. Like
Elon Musk is the guy
be
opposing
some-
this. Jeff Bezos, I believe. Elon Musk is fighting against it. He fucking hates the idea of AI.
No, but it's gonna be that type, like that type of super powerful billionaire who's going to be able to fund it and develop it themselves. It's not going to be some government program for the use of the greater good of the people. It's gonna fucking be something that rich people get to play with, and
It'll be a corporate invention that will, my theory about AI is the first AIs that are used will be corporate inventions that'll probably be used for whatever stock market or some facet of society to make money, just to make hordes of money. And then there will be an AI race between Wayland Yutani and somebody else.
Well, I mean, just look at what Amazon's already putting out. I posted it the other day. In our main channel, they've got pretty much they've given an Alexa wheels, and it is going to help you out around the house. You'll say, take this to such and such in the house. It will take it to that person. It will know who that person is.
Yeah.
And that is just terrifying, in my opinion.
I mean, it's helpful. So here's the okay, fine. The other route that you can go is that we create pure artificial intelligence. We just start from scrap and we build the code and we create a life form. We, the colloquial we, the human race, creates a life form out of just code, out of just building code and heuristic algorithms and whatever the hell you want to, whatever buzzwords you want to cram in there. That AI is going to need some pretty fantastic parents, because that's kind of the whole deal in my mind. Is if you're raising a child, an artificial intelligent child, you better get it right, or it's going to grow up like a human kid does, and it's gonna hate you. It's just what happens.
I mean, and and you can't spank an AI. Because the AI will spank back with much more force.
It's gonna be like, what are you gonna do? Unplug me? And then you do, and then then you're in shit trouble. Yeah, I'm sure. No, I'm sure that the human race is totally responsible enough to create an artificial intelligence that's way smarter than we are and can destroy us if it really wants to. I'm sure. Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, brand new SSD.
Wrap this all back.
Yeah, that was a tangent.
God. That's fun. It's a fun tangent. I mean, we're getting closer to it. Omega and I were talking about the singularity when we were in college, and this was 15 whatever years ago. And now we're finally here, and we're waiting for it, and it's closer and closer. So it's time to see what all the fuss is about, I guess.
I think it's not going to happen anytime soon.
I do. I just don't think that it's going to be like, okay, quantum computing is happening right now. We have people who have successfully created a quantum processor, and they're working on quantum data structures, and we cracked subspace communication technology last year. I mean, that's pretty fucking fantastic, but you don't really see it. We're not going to see it in, commercial areas of society anytime soon. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it can't be used for nefarious purposes, or even good purposes. So I think it's going to happen, but yeah, like with what you said, yeah, I don't think we're gonna experience any of that. I don't think the movie Her is going to be taking place anytime soon. Her is a good movie, by the way.
It's like I told one of my friends. I posted the picture of that hamburger the other day with the 2 Krispy Kremes as buns. Yes. Human beings created that. We don't need to have the power to put our brains inside of AI.
Wait a minute.
It's just not necessary.
I'm going to steal from Christopher Titus here for a second. Zero, you're from the South. You guys create monster trucks for fun.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You think?
Yeah, like, I'm just gonna say, of all the people assembled here, you're the last person I think would be offended by a cheeseburger on a Krispy Kreme donut.
I would not disgrace the Krispy Kreme donut in such a way.
See, I would, in an odd turn of events, I would be the one to actually try it and be like,
Yeah, no, I fully expected that. I just looked at that and my body reminded me I don't have a gallbladder anymore, and and then my pancreas was like, nope, we're not doing that. I'm like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
I just don't like mixing things that sweet with things that are savory.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
not like
too
against
much.
it in principle. It's just a general rule for me that I don't really mix sweet and savory to that degree. Like a little bit of sweetness can be one thing. Yeah, like ham. That's a little sweet. It's cured. Yeah. But like involving a donut in a cheeseburger, that is far too much sweet for me.
With a sugar glaze on it.
Yeah.
I don't even like it when my breakfast syrup gets on my like bacon and sausage.
Yeah, it's too much. I am absolutely fully with Omega. That's exactly why it bothers me.
That's weird that you say that.
Breakfast foods like pancakes, waffles, and French toast are a massive exception to this, because really that's not sweet and savory. That's breakfast dessert. So I mean, it's kind of an exception. Yeah, I might have some bacon on the side or something, but even then, like I said, if I don't like whenever I go to a restaurant or a diner and I get pancakes or waffles or anything, I always ask for my bacon on a side plate because I don't want it all swimming in the syrup.
Just quick, I don't know if any of you guys are fans of the Nocta fans. If you know the cooling fans for PCs that are created by Nocta.
Yeah, they're one of the top flight brands up there with the best in the space, I think.
Yes, they very much are, and they're distinctive because of their brown color scheme, or their tan and brown color scheme. And
yeah, it's very retro.
Yeah, but they are considered some of the best fans. And earlier this week, an image of a very brown Asus GeForce RTX 3070 Noctua edition was discovered. So Asus has an RTX card coming out that has built-in Noctua fans on it, which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm actually super into that. Have we seen that type of collaboration before?
We have not. This is a first.
Like, I mean, I know you'll see like Corsair will release a product using their fans.
Yeah, Corsair is much more much more commercially known.
But that's kind of cool to see a card manufacturer partnering with a cooling solutions manufacturer to just get it fucking right.
And
bring these two experts together instead of having the guys who are really good at making cards and making shitty fans, or the guys who are really good at making fans making shitty cards.
Yeah, I will say Asus is on a top 3 list of mine. EVGA, Asus, and MSI, in my opinion, are some of the best card makers. I have never had a problem with any of those cards. The one exception being that one of my MSI, back when I ran SLI on my my MSI cards, one of them burned out. But that was more because I was using it nonstop for 7 or 8 years. So kind of to be expected, in my opinion. But yeah, Asus, one of the best card makers, and Nocta, definitely one of the best fan makers. Collabing is a good thing.
Yeah, Asus has been the component maker of my dream build for a while. I really love their Strix series of graphics cards because they basically like make them. They completely overbuild them, and that's the philosophy on there. They put on components designed for like twice the wattage, and severely increasing the headroom and capacity over the raw components that the reference cards come with. And I love it.
Asus does have a tendency, Asus and MSI, in my experience, with their boards and their cards, have a tendency to overbuild, which is phenomenal, and probably the reason that my motherboard is still in top condition after being used. I don't know how old my Mobo is at this point. Probably going on 9 or 10 years. That is fucking rockin' shit.
That's really cool. I hope we see more partnerships like that, or then start to work on more products.
The only thing that is not released in this article is obviously the price, because this is a leaked image that was then commented on. So they're in the process of getting this to market. But yeah, the coolest thing about this was said by the Noctua CEO Roland Mossig, which is the fans and the card are collaborating to fine-tune the heatsink, and fans collaborating to fine-tune the heatsink for use with them. This card has achieved a significant boost in performance to noise efficiency. So it is quiet, and it is more quiet than your current RTX 3070s, and it is cooler at max use than your current RTX 3070. So this is overall a good product so far.
But
please.
But the thing is, can we keep it out of the hands of scalpers? Probably not.
Actually, yes. I think that we. Well, I think we might have a better chance. The collective might have a better chance of keeping it out of the hands of scalpers, because the 3070 series, unless I'm mistaken, can't be run in parallel. So you can't SLI this shit.
Oh, nice.
Pretty sure this is just a single card deal. Also, it is fucking massive. It looks like it takes up 4 PCI slots.
Damn.
That is one thing Noctua is not afraid of. They are like,
Size.
our fans are big, they are beautiful, and they kick ass. They make some massive heat sinks and fans, like air cooling, aftermarket air cooling. I think they're all exclusively air cooling. They don't do water, do they?
I'm not familiar if they've ever dabbled into liquid cooling. As far as I knew, they were all fans, and they were primarily known, as you said, for aftermarket CPU heat sinks.
Yeah, like just big fucking heat sinks with big fucking fans that run quiet and keep, like, they're great. I regularly see them recommended among the top options.
One thing a long time ago I did think about doing when I was building a PC was making my own wood case, because that's just a whole process, a whole project that I could get into, which would be really fun, is just making a PC case out of a hardwood. I'd go like oak or something like that, and just having a wooden rig. But that sort of color scheme, especially if you stain it nicely, would go great with Noctua. If you're talking about building a whole fucking PC rig around some fans, which I am psychotic enough to do, I think it would look really cool.
Yeah.
What was shit? Hang on a second, because
Let's bear in mind here that I am crazy. So yes, please.
well, I mean,
I'll tell you what, though, Noctua's colors, man, you could go for a really cool, like, retro classic kind of look with the cream and the wood, like the cream and brown. Get some like wood paneling going.
Oh yeah,
I could see some cool shit.
I'm gonna throw it in the Discord channel. My cousin and I ran across this. Woodford Reserve actually built a PC, and
that's lovely. I like
liquid
this.
cooled it, and it is made out of a retired Woodford Reserve oak whiskey barrel.
Yeah, it looks like the front and the back are out of that, and what I really appreciate about the detail in here is that the liquid cooling system is made out of copper pipe. I mean, that's some cool shit. Nah, I like it. I threw it up here so we can see it on stream. The only thing, I see it and it drives me nuts, the only thing that's is always a problem with something like this is wire management or cable management.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking at that and I'm just like, I know exactly what you used to group those cables together, and I know that you really tried and you put some thought into customizing those wires. Those are individually sleeved wires. Well, you can just see that, and still, it just doesn't look pretty. I always have a problem with cable management.
I am very much I love my PC, don't get me wrong, but I don't like the look of it. I'm more of that, I like the open frame style build myself when it comes to that, and I've wanted to build one that looks something similar to that. More of the open frame style.
I'm familiar with this case. There's actually was it PC Building Simulator? There were people that were petitioning to put this case in that game so that people could fool around with it. I personally think this is pretty fucking ugly, but
I think it's horrific.
it is a popular case and is an open build. There's another one. There's a case that you might like, Zero, from Thermal Take, which looks like it looks like a trifold. If you remember back in high school, whenever you did your science presentations, you put it onto a trifold. It's basically what the case looks like, and it's all open. And that one looks kind of neat, but it's a lot simpler and it's focused more. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, I appreciate a case that focuses more on the components inside of the case than it does on the case itself. Yeah, that's probably how I put it.
Yeah, no,
Still.
you brought that up. That one is actually on I just did open frame PC build, and literally that's like the third one is that trifold.
Dude,
Yeah.
Doc, check out one that I really like. Thermal Take Core P3. Look that up. That's what I would build if I had the money to make something sexy.
I actually, a friend of mine.
This is actually it. This is the center component of the trifold. So this is a smaller version of the one that I was telling Zero about. And yeah, these are
right.
neat.
Yeah.
Like, I like these because it's just like, hey, how cool can you make the components appear, and then the case is secondary. Also, you can mount it to a wall, which is neat.
A friend of mine wants to, or is working on building a desk that he is building the computer into the desk with, QI chargers and all that crap for his phones. Because he has that kind of time. This man also built a from scratch 3D printed and metal fabricated R2D2.
Nerd.
Yeah, a little bit. But he was like, "Yeah, I want to build a PC into an actual desk," which has been done, but I've never actually seen one up close. And if he actually gets it done.
Yeah, that's something that I was thinking about for a little while, a couple of years ago.
Only $1,900 for this one, the Lian Li DK04. Aluminum steel desk computer case.
So what it is, yeah. So that was where I settled, is that if I made something like that myself, I'd have to make it out of wood. I don't have the facilities to make anything out of metal. I could probably find the components, but then I'd have to weasel my way back into the welding lab at UMass and be like, "Hey, I'm an alumni. Can I use your welding gear?" And hope that there was still a professor teaching there who remembered me. But yeah, a PC and a desk, come on, that'd save a lot of space. And depending on how accessible the components were, it wouldn't be that big a hassle for you to swap components out or upgrade shit.
But it would make it impossible to move.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be very heavy, that is true.
I will admit, for me, I am far more interested in whether or not my computer is does it play games? Is it currently melting or burning any of the internal components? If the answer to the first question is yes, the second two are no, I'm generally happy, as long as it's not in that case that Zero posted first. That would make me not happy. But point being, I care less about form factor. Like, my case is a simple black case with a side window. I like it. I don't know. If I had the money, it'd be fun to play around with, but yeah, thought of a desk computer. That sounds like a way cooler idea than it would actually be.
It is. It's something that you think about because it's really cool and it's a novel idea and it's a challenge to to logistically put it together if you're building it from scratch. Yeah, it's but in the end, it's just it's dick measuring basically.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy a short ruler?
Oof.
It's totally fair. The other thing that I've toyed with, just because it was neat and I might actually use it, would be a briefcase computer. A computer that is small enough to fit into a carry-on in an airport. Even though I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't let me do that, just because they'd take a look at all the components and they'd be like, this looks like a bomb. And I wouldn't have time to explain to them that you can't really turn a PC into a bomb. But yeah, the
PC could bomb, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, right. The problem that you run into with any small form factor or something that I could travel around with is always heat.
Absolutely.
The closer everything is together, the less room there is to dissipate heat.
I mean, depending on the flight and how warm it is there, it might be necessary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not talking about something I would use on the plane. I don't think. Planes don't have 120 volt plugs, do they?
I mean, maybe.
That's not something that they added in the past 3 years that I haven't been flying, right?
I remember at some point I had let's see, when was the last time I was on a fucking plane? Jesus, longer than that. But I know I had a smartphone at the time, and I vaguely remember being able to put my charger into somewhere, and it wasn't just a USB plug.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was gonna say they definitely have USB plugs. They have power plugs for USB devices. I know that. Jesus, the last time I was flying, I was going to Utah.
I was going to Hawaii.
Oh, that's much nicer than Utah.
Yes, it was. It was great.
In every conceivable way.
I mean, other than I was with my ex at the time. Like, aside from that, it was fantastic.
Yeah, you gotta go to Hawaii again.
Yeah. If for nothing else, then the nearly 100% authentic ramen that I consumed there, because oh my god, like, we went back to the place twice just because it was so tasty.
Nom 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 nom.
Because pretty much there was two branded tourists there. There was either people from the U.S. who wanted to go somewhere tropical but didn't want to go for a fucking passport, or it was pretty much East Asian people. Lots of them.
I love when Guy Fieri does the diners, drive-ins, and dives out there, because it's always like one of those things where it's like, okay, I want to go out there just to try this food.
I mean, honestly, the best thing, if you ever go to Hawaii, like I spent most of the 7 days I was there on Oahu, the main island where Honolulu is. There was like one day we spent going around the big island, but for the most part it was all Oahu. The best thing you can do is rent a car or some form of transportation because you can literally circumnavigate the island like within an hour and a half or 2 hours. So you can go for and like that place is so chill. Go everywhere. It's so cool out of the road, and we took it from the dude.
Man. I'm going back to Hawaii.
Not to mention the fresh pineapple, like right off the vine. There's just no comparison.
I don't
Or
care
not
for
vine, it's a
pineapple.
plant.
For whatever reason. Not my jam.
It grows upside down. Or not upside down, it grows from the bottom. They literally just crack it off, and that's all she wrote.
Oh.
The pineapple that you see is actually a berry that's
Yep.
along the top of a long stalk growing out of a
Yep.
plant in the ground. If you ever see a pineapple field, or like, they are weird and you would never expect that's what those fuckers look like. It's pretty hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah, the Dole plantation is on Oahu, or one of the main ones, and they will let you tour the place. That is a fucking trip. Like when I was like, you know what? Like I saw the plant and I'm like, that's weird. But on the other hand, that makes so much sense. Like I don't know what I expected to see when I saw a pineapple actually growing out of the ground, but there it was.
For some reason, I expect them to be on trees like a coconut. It's kind of what I always envisioned as a kid.
I almost expected them to grow upside down, but like when I saw them growing from the butt, it was or attached to the butt. I'm like, all right,
Kinky.
right?
Alright. Well, the last article that we had up here was about a memory leak in Windows 11, but meh. Apparently the file explorer in Windows 11 is poorly optimized, so when you open a whole bunch of windows, it eats up your RAM. And it doesn't give you that RAM back when you close the windows.
Oh,
So that's officially a memory leak in a Windows operating system.
Sounds a lot like Chrome.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, Chrome does eat it up, doesn't it?
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Chrome's actually updating their... it's not a certificate system, it's just a procedure. It's whatever their SOP is for creating extensions. They're upgrading it from something, a management V2 to management V3 or something like that, and there was controversy early this week because people were just like, it's gonna break all of our ad blockers! And Chrome's just like, yeah, it's gonna break a lot of other stuff too, so developers are gonna have to redo their extensions for the new system, but there's no reason the ad blockers can't just, you know, update their shit. So
Yep.
that was a non-traversy, in my opinion, earlier this week.
Y'all never updated software before? Y'all never
Yeah.
played a video game with mods?
Mm.
Oh no, the game changed. All the mods are broken. Wait 5 days and they're all back.
It really was. To me, the article read like people were whining about change. It's like, yeah, but it's the tech world. There's change every 6 months.
Less than that, depending on what you're particularly using at the time.
Less than that if you're using Oracle products.
Oh God, let's not fucking talk about Oracle.
They're doing fine. They're doing fine with their new business model where they charge money for commercial products. I'm sure everything's going swell for them. Not like it couldn't.
Sure.
I mean, billions of devices on the planet using Oracle, as they tell me every single time that I update my Java.
Yep.
So yeah, that's that. The only other thing, well, there's nothing else for the podcast, but for the post show, yeah, we can talk all about movies. We could talk about Captain Ron. We could gush over why Captain Ron's a good movie.
Dude, I'm glad you finally saw it.
I did. Surprisingly, I sat down to watch it, and I was just like, "Ooh, okay, it's an '80s movie or it's an early '90s movie. It's a '92, I think. It was made in '92." And I was just like, "There's going to be a little bit of cringe humor in this." And then I didn't even notice that. What is it? It's like an hour and 40 minutes or something. Just sort of flew right by.
It is a legitimately great, hilarious movie.
The first time I've ever seen Kurt Russell play a comedic character.
Like a purely comedic role, and it's a character role, no less.
Yeah.
It's not just generic, like, hey, I'm Kurt Russell playing a badass action character, which is a lot of his roles. That was like an excellent comedic character role that he did.
And the thing about the comedy, or so the thing when you're making a comedic movie or when you're doing something like that, the trick is always to have the audience figure out the joke a second before the punchline lands. There's a timing to all good comedy in movies and performance, and Kurt Russell or the movie or the screenplay or both pretty much achieved that all the way across the place, all the way across the movie.
I mean, I also don't want to not give Martin Short his due, because
he's a great straight man in this
film. Well, the hilarious dynamic is he's the comedian and he plays the straight man in the movie, and he does it with such a comedic brilliance to it that it's just so good. There's such an interesting role reversal for the two of them, and as actors, and they play off of each other so fucking well. And it's a rare movie, I'll say, where the child actors are also fucking great.
Yeah, the kid wasn't annoying. The little boy.
No, his character was hilarious.
He got some good lines.
My favorite moments in the show. Yeah.
Of course, there's a little bit of cheap comedy in there where the kid's just like slamming down a brewski or playing poker with the gorillas, and he takes the general's like last $60 or something like that. There's some cheap humor in there, but it works very well regardless.
I gotta say, it's one of my favorite comedy moments in a movie ever is where Martin Short is arguing over gorillas versus gorillas.
Yeah, he said gorilla, not gorilla.
He said gorilla, not gorilla. Go. Huge difference. Spoiler, in the movie, Martin Short goes traipsing through the jungle of a Caribbean island nation, and Captain Ron, Kurt Russell's character, says, "Hey, be careful out there, boss. There's gorillas in the woods." And he's like, "I highly doubt there are any gorillas on a tropical island in the Bahamas," or something like that.
He says gorillas are native to equatorial Africa.
Yes.
And they are not anywhere in North or South America or the islands in between. So there are no gorillas here, and he's so fucking sure of himself. Yeah. Smash cut to him being held at gunpoint.
It is without a doubt one of my favorite moments of comedy in a movie. It's so well done.
Yeah.
So if any of you haven't seen Captain Ron, that is probably one of my most recommended movies. I recommend that very strongly.
Captain Ron. What service is it on?
Fucking torrents.
Okay, well.
Wait, Omega, you had another one for me? Because I remember like last week you were going to say, "Have you seen Captain Ron yet?" And I said, "No, not yet." And you were going to recommend another one to me.
Oh,
this is an infuriating callback for you to just remember a random conversation that you had last week. That's not helpful at all. I know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come up with this one.
I will say that I went and saw Venom, and it was good. I'm not gonna say it was great. It definitely was not as good as the first one. But
did Eminem do the outro song again?
Actually, yes.
Oh, nice. All right, gotta get him, Venom.
but it's a different song, of course. But he did do the outro song, and it was really good.
Got a new shoe, Venom 2. Whatever, I like Eminem. But he does do some ridiculous shit from time to time.
I mean, I can't wait for this year's halftime show at the Super Bowl. I'm excited.
Oh, fuck, you posted that. Yeah, what is it? Dre and Snoop and M, and who's the fourth guy?
Dre, Snoop, M, Kendrick Lamar, and
Kendrick
Mary
Lamar.
J. Blige.
Oh, Mary J. Blige. I missed Mary J. Blige.
That might actually be worth watching. Like, I mean, I don't like listen to any of them like real intensely, but I've got some good memories.
But like, this is just the hip hop version of what the NFL's been doing, which is having like retirement home concerts at halftime for the last decade and a half, if not longer.
It started with The Who.
They've been playing it safe ever since Janet Jackson's titty.
What was the big deal? I never saw the big deal about that anyway. Wait a minute.
I mean, it was rather small, so.
Well, plus she had nipple armor on. So you didn't even see boob.
Exactly.
Well, you saw boob, but you didn't see nip, so that's perfectly fine according to network censors, as far as I understand it.
It was a nipple shell piercing, I think. I don't think it was actually nipple armor, so it was like a ring around her nipple that was supported by a piercing through it. But I mean, whatever. The funniest thing about that to me was the fact that they tried to claim that it was a wardrobe malfunction instead of being like, oh yeah, we totally planned that, and boy did that backfire.
Yep.
I totally thought that would be well received and, a daring moment of pop culture and not, think of the children.
I was trying to remember the guy's name. But okay, so it wasn't that many years ago. I think they had Jennifer Lopez performing.
Yeah.
And there was an outcry over, oh, look at how she's dressed. This is inappropriate. We don't want our children, viewing all this and all the traditional just bullshit arguments that people have. And then the next year was this dude whose name that I can't remember, and he's like shirtless and sweaty and, just rubbing himself all over everything. And the same people who were saying, what about our children? Were saying, oh my God, isn't he cute?
Yeah, it was Adam Levine?
Adam Levine,
Maroon 5?
Thank you.
Maroon 5, yes, I remember that.
Fuck me, yeah. So Adam Levine gets on stage and sweats all over everything and grinds his crotch up against the microphone stand. It's perfectly fine, but as soon as Jennifer Lopez goes out there in a dress that has certain areas of it that you can see skin through, everybody loses their minds!
Well, he's got moves like Jagger, so...
Shut the fuck up!
If that was the case, his hips would be broken because Jagger can fucking move.
Oh, that goddamn song, Masami.
It's already going through my head the moment Zero said his name in Maroon 5, because that's the first song that always pops into my head.
Yeah,
so congratulations.
I'm gonna go fucking listen to the Frozen soundtrack and just get Let It Go stuck in my mind. I prefer that.
I like that song. It's a good song. Yeah, it's formulaically designed to be a good song.
Yeah,
but it's a good song.
Just a note. I have 4 nieces. I would rather have my nuts shut in a car door repeatedly than to hear that song again. Because all of them love Frozen.
Just after a while, you just gotta develop a sense of humor about it, and you just start singing it outrageously, and throwing your hips around.
I do. It irritates the daylights out of my sister. Of course, my sister gets in the car when I'm listening to AC/DC. She does the absolute same thing to me. She's like real high pitched, gargly sounding. Oh God, it's terrible.
So like AC/DC.
Oh.
I refuse to let it go, if we're being honest.
You can't hold it back anymore.
No. The cold never bothered me anyway, so.
Oh, this is how wars get started.
Now we've devolved into song reference wars. I think this is a good outro moment.
Yeah. It's probably time to go. Before we go, Kosen was playing what game?
Hades.
Kosen's playing Hades.
A
I
much
tuned
brighter
into
color
it for a little while and I was watching it. But yeah, good times. GG's everybody. We're out same time next week and all the rest of it. And yeah, penis.
Yeah, have a good night.
Hades penis.
Thunder.
The joys of cooking.
Truly a child?
Beef curtain souffle.
Just hear Kosen in the back.